Hi viewers, thank you. Welcome to my channel. Today's subject is socialism, and Mondanian socialism in America, right? New York mayor, is running again, and there's a lot of talk about socialism in New York, in America, which is quite interesting subject because America has always been a capitalist country, right? And they were against socialism. We really need to understand what's the logic behind socialism and today's politician, why they're emphasizing on socialist values. Look at this guy. Go back to 1960s in Pakistan. Look at these guys from Pakistan. Is Bilawal Bhutto, Benazir Bhutto, father, right? Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, 1960s, 70s. It's a feudal law. It used to be a feudal law. 60s there was a lot of poverty in Pakistan. There's still poverty in Pakistan. So he used to be working with Ayub Khan. Ayub Khan brought capitalist ideas in Pakistan, with a lot of peasants and farmers. They wanted to join, and he brought a kind of revolution in Pakistan economy. But what is socialism, and what's the difference between communism and socialism, and what's the link between socialism and Islamic ideas like Islam and socialism? So this is what Bhutto said. Muhammad had a movement, and he said, look, we will bring socialism because Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Prophet Muhammad was the first socialist, right? So that's quite interesting, quite a claim. Well, let's dig into this, if this was true. Me myself, I'm not a big supporter of Bhutto and Bhuttoism, and he was hanged later on by the Ziaul-Haq regime because he was too communist and he going towards communism. Well, Muhammad as a caliph, and there was four disciples, they were all socialists because they believe in equal rights. There is no black and whites, everyone is equal, and they believe the wealth should be distributed equally, and they brought some taxes. So zakat, interesting tax, right? Zakat. The rich will pay zakat, and this is £2.50, 2.5%, or whatever the percentage is, on your wealth, right? So people brought this revolution. Muhammad, there was a one-man army, and the people, the disciple, like there was a senator of Rome when came to see Omar, the second caliph, right? Where is he? They found him. Oh, right, he's sleeping on the floor. Oh wow, where is his palace? No, he doesn't live. Omar doesn't live in palace. He is a socialist, man. They're all socialists. They were hungry, and they believe in. They thrived in poverty, and they never made palaces or money, and they left like in debt. You know what I mean? So there was, whenever there's a funeral, and people will ask, oh, this blah blah person, does he have a debt, right? There's a debt, or someone come forward and say, look, I will forgive his debts. So Muhammad was basically first socialist, right? And he brought socialism, but no one has followed it basically in any Muslim countries. And following is one thing. No one understands what socialism is, right? So we got a movement in Pakistan in the 60s and 70s, right, for socialism. So 60s and 70s we have two different camps of the Soviet Union, a bipolar world, and we have a capitalist America and the USA, and we got the socialist USSR, Unionist Socialist Republic, the Soviet Union, right? We have a strong labor force and centralization of economy. Bhutto was emphasizing on socialism. It was a threat. But now, what's the difference between communism and socialism, right? Communism is a branch of socialism, right? But it's a very hard, like very ultra form of socialism. It's very harsh on religion as well. Communists, they don't like religion, right? Because religion is a center of power. Church of England and government, or King of England, they never went on together. Vatican and the kings and King of France never went on together because people will gather in sermons like Friday sermons and other sermons. It's a center of power. Religion is a center. The imam or the church, the father will say, oh look, there is a strike today. What are you going to do? What government's going to do? You bring, bloody hell, there is one police officer for 10,000 people. That imam or that socialist guy will say, look, we are going for a strike today. The prices are too high. The communists, they never liked it. So the communists abolished religion, right? Freedom of speech. And they said, well, there is no free movement of labor, equity, privatization, no privatization. We control everything. It's a police state, the KGB, right, and the secret police will control everything. If you talk about government, will disappear, and it will send you to the gulag, right? The socialism ideas coming from Islam, but the communist ideas were not coming from Islam, right? So there is a major difference. So this is what CIA cashed on in Soviet war in Afghanistan. The CIA said, like, communists are godless, right? They don't believe in religion. There was a mass campaign against the Soviet Union, and they said, well, all the jihadis, they should stay go through the Pakistan border and go fight in Afghanistan against this godless Soviet socialists, right? Well, China was communist as well. But this is how it's getting complicated. What's the link between today these politicians? Why they're emphasizing on socialism again, the rise of socialism? So because of these socialist ideas in Bhutto's 60s and 70s, Americans, they didn't like him much, really. He was a feudal lord, but I mean, it's strange, a feudal lord. The socialist ideas are coming from his mouth, so people wouldn't believe in them, right? They wouldn't implement it because they were today's People's Party, and everybody, they're all capitalists. They say roti, kapda, and makan, which is the bread and clothes and shelter, right? But obviously they're the biggest corrupt party in the Pakistan, and they're not very popular. So the story of socialism linked with Islam and as a religion, and today's rise of Mamdani has not been seen as good, because of the past. So Muslims were socialist because Muhammad brought socialist reforms, and he preached simplicity, and not people going on showing off when their wealth and their BMWs and today's Britain and all that. It's not Islam. Islam was socialism. The Umarian laws, the taxation laws were they implemented from Sharia laws in Norway, adopted by, even in Britain there are Sharia laws with taxation and sukuk bonds and other stuff, So the rise of socialism again. What's New York mayor is saying? Free bus passes and food banks and all that, right? Where did capitalism gone wrong? So why all of these 70s, 50s Muslim countries, they never implied socialism? Well, Muhammad was a socialist, like I explained, and his disciples are socialists as well. They were living a simple life, and they even refused to have a shrine, and they said, we don't want a shrine. Every Muslim person wants a shrine, and there's shrine worshippers, and they bow their head down there. The Prophet and the disciple have a simple grave, and you can't even tell which grave it was. That's how simple they were. One date, and they used to starve all day, and there was starvation. They were proper socialists, right? So where did we go wrong now? What's the link between today's politician? Let's talk about Mamdani. So New York Mayor Mamdani is saying we were bringing socialist democracy, democratic socialist, right? Socialist reforms. So capitalism, free borders, free movements of capital brings on money, open freedom of speech, and all that. Well, obviously that capitalism has transformed itself now into crony capitalism and predatory capitalism. There's no corporate social responsibility. The mega corporation, they destroy the planet, and they're digging up resources, and they're not eco-friendly. It's a big carbon footprint. So crony and oligarchs, they are taking over America. Obviously the whole world is like this now. So we have a problem now. Now we have a mayor which could be assassinated. We don't know he's gonna win or not. Well, he's talking about socialism, free bus passes, food banks and all that. What's going on in the shutdown, right? The biggest economy in the world is going for shutdown because of all these politicians and political deadlock and ego. So do we really need socialism now? Is this the rise of socialism again? Because capitalism has failed us, right? Free market has failed us, right? So there's too much wealth piling up. How would Elon Musk need a trillionaire? First trillionaire gonna be Elon Musk, already projected. Then we got Jeff Bezos. We got Mark Zuckerberg. The list is on and on. So many billionaires. So average lifespan of humans beings used to be 35, right? It's gone up to the 70s. Then now, obviously, obviously 80, Warren Buffett is still alive, Rockefellers and all these people. Why would you need that much wealth for an individual basis, right? And they don't pay taxes. We have a problem. See, this is a problem. As soon as the government says, look, do we pay taxes? Do you want to billionaires or millionaires? Do you want to pay taxes? No, we're gonna move back to Ireland or somewhere else, Dubai or something. So they all threaten the government, and they move somewhere else. So the capitalism and crony capitalism and predatory capitalism is not working. So we are having the rise of socialism. Socialist reforms are needed today in our society. Health service, health insurance too expensive, and people are denied and their basic rights. So basically, the government's run by donation and gerrymongering. Obviously, all these people, they pay donation and their policies are implemented. So we have a problem. This capitalism needs reforms, and there's a rise of socialists. People are calling Mamdani as a socialist guy. So where do we stand today? Do we need the rise of socialism? I think we do. Yeah, there should be some balancing need to be done, man. What are you gonna do? Billions and billions or trillions of dollars, man? When are you gonna die? Or are you worried about your next generation? They should work. They shouldn't get inheritance money. They should work hard and find their way. Well, why would you need so much money? Why do you leave so much money for the children, offspring, right? Well, on the expense of damaging the planet. Corporate responsibility, right? Green revolution. We need socialist reforms. But anyway, thanks for watching this channel, and if you want to contribute to anything in socialism and Mamdani elections and other socialist reforms, please do. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.